you point out in this book, boasting about it.
Yep. No, this, you know, I just got an email from someone, a very well-known person, and said to me that, you know, you're holding these peace rallies, but you're really wasting your time because people really don't care. And, yeah, it's great that you're doing them. He said, but you're wasting your time having them. And, you know, it breaks my heart because to some extent it's true.
To some extent, it is true. They're more interested in the garbage of American culture today, whatever the latest nonsense is. I don't know. It was a Succession story on television that everybody talked about for 3 weeks. I never watched it and couldn't care less about it. I'm sure you're the same. They care more about that than they care about American bodies are soon going to be in body bags because old Joe has been talking about having American pilots in those F-16s, and they will be shot down by Russian anti-aircraft equipment.
You know, and speaking of what's going on in Ukraine, last week was $2 billion more. This week, another $350 million more. Oh, you know, you're down there not far, I guess, from that I-95 in Pennsylvania, that the truck blew up, right? And when it caught fire, they say it's going to take a couple of months to fix. If this was China, the damn thing would be fixed in a week.
Correct.
And you go everywhere around, a rotted infrastructure near you, as we're spending billions of dollars to send over to Ukraine to fight a war that's none of our business. They just passed that debt ceiling thing, almost $1 trillion to the defense budget, as this country's rotting in front of us.
That deal that they passed, which would not have passed without Republican support, the Republicans stand for nothing today, allows Janet Yellen to borrow all the money she wants. Now, she needs $4 trillion. She can go borrow $10 trillion. You know what that's going to do to interest rates if she goes out into the market and tries to get $10 trillion? She already is trying to borrow $1 trillion before Christmas, and that's pushing interest rates up. These people don't understand the natural and probable consequences of their behavior. A generation of Americans as yet unborn, their income taxes will be used to pay the interest on the debts she's incurring today. And at the rate they're doing it, in 12 years, 2035, trillion to defense, trillion to interest, trillion to Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. Well, that only leaves $1.5 trillion to spend on the rest of the government.
You know, they know what they're doing. They don't care. That's basically the bottom line. And going back to Ukraine, yesterday, Putin said that he could order his troops to try to seize more land in Ukraine to protect Russian territory on the border, while asserting, quote, Ukraine forces have suffered catastrophic losses in their new counteroffensive. He said Ukraine has lost 160 tanks, more than 360 armored vehicles in recent days, but Russia's lost 54 tanks. So the war keeps heating up. The United States, the UK, and NATO have pledged to keep sending more armaments to keep blooding the killing fields.
To use Joe's words, quote, forgive me for interrupting you, Gerald, for as long as it takes, closed quote.
Yep.
And they have no off-ramp. They really think that Ukraine can win this war, even though the documents that kid in Massachusetts supposedly is the sole source of, they don't challenge the accuracy or authenticity. Those documents show that the American military command, the same human beings that gave Trump that memo about invading Iran, have concluded that Ukraine is going to lose the war. And still we're sending billions. And still they're slaughtering innocents. Russian boys, Ukrainian boys.
Well, Judge, thanks a lot. And one final question. And going back to Trump and the article that that's going out tomorrow, what do you think the bottom line is going to be?
Knowing his personality, knowing him as I do, he's not going to accept any kind of a plea deal, even a plea deal to jaywalking. So I think there will be a trial. It'll make the OJ trial look like a jaywalking case. It'll truly be the trial of the century. But because it's in federal court, it won't be televised, but everybody will be watching it with bated breath, particularly when he takes the stand. You can't make this up. He takes the stand in his own defense. Oh, God.
And you think that'll happen after the election?
No, I think it'll happen very soon. This is a judicial district called a rocket docket, meaning they try cases within 6 months of indictment. I think this federal case will be tried before the one in New York. The one in New York is a little crazy and a little convoluted. This one's far more straightforward, and this one will probably come up first. And he's got 2 more that he hasn't even been indicted yet.
Oh,
January 6th and the shenanigans in Georgia. Those indictments are coming before Labor Day.
well, Judge, again, everybody listening, what you're hearing from the judge, you're not hearing anywhere else. Again, only the facts, and that's what we do at the Trends Journal. We only give you the facts. And don't forget to tune in to Judging Freedom with Judge Napolitano.
Colonel McGregor today at 3 o'clock Eastern.
Well, tell him I said hello. What a man he is.
Oh, yes, I will.
There's the judge's website, so make sure you go there and do what you can to support the truth, because we're doing everything we can to give you the truth in trends and the truth in the true American spirit. Thanks so much, Judge.
Thank you, Gerald. Always a pleasure.